I'm Cheree Ramirez, the host of Community Unity by Children's Services Council of Martin County, located at the 10th Street Studio. We are back in the 10th Street Studio for another episode of Community Unity, and today with me I have the CEO, Keith Fletcher, of the Boys and Girls Club of Martin County, but I call him Fletch. Thank you for joining me, Fletch.
Super excited to be here, and thank you for all that Children's Services Council does for us and so many others to make sure every kid has a chance. So
Well, of course, we're 35 years of serving the Martin County children and families. So we're happy to be here, happy to serve by funding all these wonderful agencies.
Well, you do so much more than that. There's a lot of coaching and support and commitment to outcomes and fidelity, and you make sure people are doing it right, and that's important in today's world. So
Well, thank you for saying that. Tax dollars are at work
There
at
you
Boys
go.
and Girls Club.
And I was not paid to say that, or at least not
No.
well paid to say that. So that's,
Tell me a little bit about yourself and how you became the CEO of Boys and Girls Club.
So I had a pretty lucrative career before here as a before model for fitness commercials. So I was not so I
You really let yourself go.
I have, right?
Just kidding. Just kidding.
This is what you could be. So I grew up in a little town outside of Richmond, Virginia, Mechanicsville, son of a secretary and a postal worker, first in my family to go to and graduate from college. Both sets of grandparents lived 2 miles from my house. And both grandmas actually lived to be 96 and 101, basically,
Wow.
and passed within the last year and a half. So
Wow.
the presence of strong women has been a recurring theme in my life. A very small town, like I said, when I was growing up, so small that on the first date that I actually drove a young lady by myself, the sheriff pulled me over and issued me a ticket that said "Grandma loves you" on it, because she called the sheriff and knew which road I would be on, because there's only one road to take. So the psychoses that you'll see happens will come throughout. Growing up, my dad, he didn't believe in me having computer games and stuff like that. I had to be a carpenter's helper, do those kinds of things to get in shape for football and all those kinds of fun things. Went to a place called James Madison University and JMU in Virginia, which I like to refer to as just missed the University of Virginia, just missed UVA. Why are you laughing? First of all,
Just missed.
just missed it. Yes, could have got in if I wanted to. No. So I went there. I was a PR guy and a sociology and with a concentration in Afrocentric thought and criminal justice, then a master's from the University of Georgia. Landed in Miami in 2002 with the intent of staying there 3 years. I actually started my career in higher ed.
Okay.
So I was a hall director for a building at the University of Miami with 940 freshmen experiencing all the freedoms of South Beach for the first time. So you can imagine what that life was
I'm sure.
was like.
Lots of interesting stories.
Lots of interesting stories between the Grove and South Beach, but nonetheless, spent about 10 years at the University of Miami. Had a whole bunch of different hats. Was the ombudsperson. At the end of my time there, I was responsible for all of the undergraduate leadership engagement, civic engagement, community service. Went over to FIU for a little bit. Served in their newly founded Office of Community and Community Engagement. And I really worked on two big things there. FIU's partnership with the school district down in Miami-Dade, which is the 4th largest school district in the country, and FIU is the 5th largest public institution in the country, so they had 32 working groups. And they also worked on creating an industry cluster in life sciences and biotechnology, actually from Martin through the Keys. Really boring stuff that kept me
Sounds
trying
like
to
it.
death, right?
Biotechnology.
Right? Yeah, really crazy, crazy stuff. So, and then ever since that, I've been doing nonprofit work, trying to help young people, young people succeed. So, how did I wind up in Martin County? I actually wanted to cut down on my commute. The irony of all of that. So, I learned about it learned about the opportunity from a colleague. I'm sort of an anomaly for Boys and Girls Clubs because I was hired directly in as the CEO and didn't grow up in the Boys and Girls Club system. I never was a club kid growing up, and but serving kids like that has always been important to me. I've benefited from mentorship. I've been in places, made a lot of decisions that I shouldn't. Sort of been in handcuffs 7 times and not for any good reason, right? And
None of it is a good reason,
It
right?
can be good reason, no. So I wound up calling the headhunting firm and getting connected to them 45 minutes after the person who accepted the job to run the Boys and Girls Clubs of Martin County, and they had paid his moving expenses, and he declined the position. So if I had called 45 minutes sooner, the position was full. I would have never thought of it again, and I would have continued my career in Miami. The rest is history. If you're a person of faith and believe in divine intervention and things happen for a reason, I believe that I was supposed to be here. That was, January 2018.
Wow.
And at that point in time, Boys and Girls Clubs of Martin County was about a $2.5 million a year organization. Now, 6 years later, we're a $14 million a year.
Yeah, I know. You guys have grown and expanded. Can you tell me a little bit about some of those expansion plans you have?
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly some of them have been in partnership with the Children's Services Council. So we've done a couple of things that I think are unique. And I should say this, that all the credit for that goes to, the incredible staff of the Boys and Girls Clubs, 270 strong and growing. Total employees at the Boys and Girls Clubs.
Amazing.
And a remarkable board that has this huge appetite for innovation and wanting to move the ball down the field. So we have 4 clubhouses right now. We have Hobe Sound, we have Indiantown, we have Port Salerno, and we have Stuart, which just opened, and we've closed Palm City temporarily.
Okay.
But some of those growth plans included.
Is that getting revamped? Palm City?
I think us having a Palm City identity will get revamped. So. And I'll talk about those expansion plans in just a second. But the first big things we do is we revamp what we did on the day-to-day in the clubs. Everything we do centers around, academic performance, good character and citizenship, and healthy lifestyles. But we really doubled down. So in any of our clubs, you're going to get music, arts, dance, up to like 8 different sports. We have 50 certified teachers that work for us. 46 come from Martin County. So we've become this big kind of, we've been a big employer. But also, we provide a quality of experience that I think can't really be touched sort of by others, and we do it all for free. So kids don't pay anything to come to our clubs in the summer or after school, ever. So that was part one. Part two was we launched an AmeriCorps program here, which actually finds its roots here with the CEO of the Children's Services Council with Dave Heaton many years ago. Probably not 35 because he's not that old of a man yet. But even though his hair says otherwise, so we launched a core and we put mentors into all 5 Martin County middle schools. Pretty simple premise: focus on the kids with a history of bad behavior, bad attendance. Put butts in seats and make them behave, and grades goes up. Right? That's what's happened for us ever since then. And then we go into, now we have expanded the program into elementary schools. Targeting really 3rd grade and down, doing literacy interventions. Pretty simple thing. This private prison builders use 3rd grade reading to forecast the number of beds we need in the state of Florida. So we know that having a kid on track by 3rd grade is a really big indicator for us. We're the only Boys and Girls Clubs in the state of Florida right now. It's the second sort of tier of our growth that we brought mental health in-house. A lot of great folks doing it in Martin County, but sometimes they get jammed up. And then certainly with some of the communities we serve, there's a big stigma. So we brought a licensed or license-eligible social worker into our clubs, supported by a case manager, overseen by a clinical person, so we can host higher ed interns, mental health team of 9.
That's wonderful.
We got somebody on the floor of the club, so if Cheree's my social worker on the club,
Yep.
and Cheree says, "Hey, can I have a conversation with you?" There's no stigma; it's natural, right? And then we're helping kids with a whole lot better. But then, shout out to folks like Tyson Teens, because once we've seen a kid for a short amount of time and we can't sink any more time into that particular intervention, they get referred out, right? And Tykes can provide that more ongoing level of support. So that's been a big area. Then workforce has been huge for us, right?
Yes.
And certainly we've gotten some exciting pilot funding from Children's Services Council. So first entree into that space, pun intended, was our Fork in the Road food program. So right now we employ actually 72 of our own kids, making $15 an hour.
That's wonderful.
They cook all the hot food for our system, everything for the Hobe Sound Early Learning Center. Number of other contracts. They do commissary work, so you'll see our chocolate chip cookies for sale. We make the protein balls for the Guggen.
Down at the Guggen.
Right, you'll see Proudly Baked. You'll see Proudly Baked by the Boys and Girls Club. So at 13 years old, you can do an internship with Chef Dan, and shout out to his incredible leadership.
Yeah.
$599. That's what the federal government says the max we can pay a 13-year-old. Then at 14, you go on our payroll making $15 an hour. You can work in our kitchen doing our food, or you can go out on one of our food trucks. We have one, about to get our second. We do between 14 and 17 events a month that range from the JV football game at Martin County High all the way up to high-end events or a 200-person, seated dinner. They did the food for the NAACP banquet last year, for example.
I've attended quite a few events where the Fork in the Road has been there, and always I go and support you guys.
Yeah,
And
sure.
food is delicious,
Great.
Chef Dan. They always help.
You didn't get sick. This is
No,
great.
no, never gotten sick. And they make things gluten-free for me, even if it's not been an option.
Okay.
So they've actually
Wow.
been very
Wow.
helpful with that. Thank you, Chef Dan.
Yeah, let me look right in the camera and say, Chef Dan, you're not getting a raise. Let me be real honest with you. Like,
Don't.
she talked about this off camera. You're not. This is not helping you at all. So we have this incredible culinary and hospitality program, and now we're actually having our kids trained behind the scenes with Jupiter Island, Loblolly, Sailfish Point, Harbor Ridge, so they
That's
can place and
wonderful.
work in those clubhouses. So that's kind of a cool thing for us, and
You're really preparing them for the workforce.
100%. Then we have drone programs. So we train every fifth grader on a 1-hour certification, and then when you're 16, you can do your 23-hour FAA certification in unmanned flight with us for free. We have a 184-hour registered apprenticeship program with Florida Training Services that we do in home building. So that's 184 hours. When you graduate from that, when you're 18, they place you with an employer, and you come back to us and get carpentry, electrical, plumbing, or HVAC certification. So the idea is that at 22, you're debt free. You've got a journeyman's license, and you're entrepreneurially capable and homeowner ready and sort of upwardly mobile for life. And then also in that new building, we shout out to Saber Mochaccino. He's running a Future of Fashion program. So we have a waiting list of cohort of kids making dresses and suits. So if you're looking for a fancy dress to wear to that next banquet where you're representing Children's Services Council, you got that opportunity. And we have an advanced manufacturing suite. So what happens in the Boys and Girls Clubs is we can do some things that are a little bit more nimble than big institutions like school districts or state colleges. Kids can try things faster. They can find their niche faster. And these are not jobs that are, going to keep you, at a certain level for life. These are jobs that are starting at $35, $40 an hour.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times that's making more than maybe both parents are making right now. So we're talking about sort of rewriting the narrative of what a whole community is capable of. There's a whole lot of partners on the business side, on the nonprofit side that come into the funding and the placing the kids and all that kind of equation. But we just know that our kids have to be economically resilient, homeowner ready, upwardly mobile, and sort of entrepreneurially capable to survive in today's world. And that's what our core premise is. We also expanded by running another program that goes into the high schools and teaches kids how to fill in FAFSAs and figure out the college access process, especially if you're first gen. Not as a criticism of anyone, but just in this country, a ninth grader through 12th grade of high school gets about a half an hour, a little bit more than a half an hour with a guidance counselor in their high school career. So if going to college is a new proposition for you, you need someone to hold that hand. So that's what we're
And
here
it's
to
a
do.
process applying to colleges.
100%.
Each application takes time.
Where does your little lady want to go? Do you know?
FSU.
Okay.
That's her goal.
All right.
That's her goal school.
She might even be on the football team if they keep it up, right?
Right?
They're terrible. They're terrible. They're terrible.
They did win one game.
I think they've won two. I don't think
Oh, okay.
I think they've won two. I think they've won two.
Well, so are you a UM fan since you work?
No, I'm a JMU guy, and then I did my master's at the University of Georgia and worked with athletes.
Bulldog.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm a Bulldog. Yeah.
Through and through.
Through
Gotcha.
and through.
Athens.
Through and through. Red and black it has to be. Orange and blue I cannot stand. That's 100%. For you chomping gators out there. Yeah. So,
oh, yes. So that all sounds absolutely amazing, especially for the future of our kids, because you're truly investing in our future by giving them a hand up and walking them through their careers that they could continue to build and grow on their own.
Right.
So that's wonderful, that expansion plan for the programming.
Right.
What about your different locations? Are you developing more at your locations,
100%.
right? So
we are. So very soon we'll be seeking county commission approval to reimagine our Hobe Sound campus. So right now that building is about 18,000 square feet. And I should probably pause to say that every building except for this new Monster Stuart building has a waiting list. So we need more space to serve kids. So that building is going to get knocked down at 18,000 square feet and be rebuilt at 30,000 square feet with a proper gym, proper bleachers, proper performing arts stage, workforce space, and a proper club. For all of our clubs, we like to apply what I like to call the Uber mentality, or democratizing the space. So I'm paying for the lights to be on. I'm paying for pest control. So if you want to use the building during the day, call us. We have 110 requests to use that new gym in Stuart, right? So we were on
That gym is immaculate.
and so the one in Hobe Sound will be the same, slightly different roof. It'll be the same kind of capacity, same kind of setup. So we believe in building buildings that are not just in service to our kids, but can become true community assets. We don't build buildings with, people sometimes criticize the looks, but we don't build buildings with flat roofs because they look like jails and hospitals. We want kids to feel inspired and have something to aspire to. After Hobe Sound, we're going to look to Port Salerno as our smallest building with our biggest waiting list north of 250 to get into that club. So we need to solve that, and we've got some plans on how we're going to solve that. And then we're looking at a reemergence into Palm City, either with a workforce or athletics focused club in that space. We're right now blessed with a pretty big transportation fleet. So we truck our kids around to, if there's a program at one, just like the high schools, we take them to that club to.
But I do see them out. That seems to be one of the hurting points, the pain points for many other agencies with their transportation or lack thereof.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to find drivers, and it's hard to find.
It's the toughest job to hire for, almost, sir. It is.
And the upkeep of the vehicles, it's a cost.
That's right.
So you said that you went from 2.1 million.
Yeah, 2.13, something like that.
So something like that to a 14 point.
Let's just call it 14.
14.
Let's not create any more haters. Let's just call it 14. Let's just call it 14.
How did you do that?
So I think, we have, for a very, very long time, we have enjoyed a wonderful relationship with some of the key philanthropists in Martin County, and they have continued to invest in our vision. And I think that's what's changed about Boys and Girls Clubs is our staff team and our kids have come together and they've created a vision for what the community could be and how the clubs can support that. And we have some philanthropists that have bought into that. But I think that what's really kind of a bit of might shock you is that about 70% of our income is grants. So it's things like some growth and investment from Children's Services Council. Quite frankly, having the foresight to say, like, let's accelerate some of this workforce stuff. Let's help kids in the mental health spaces and the holistic development, whether it's popular in the state of Florida or not, right? So I think that's a big shout out to you all. And then we've been able to unlock substantive money from AmeriCorps, from 21st Century Community Learning Centers. That's allowed us to accelerate our programming. That's probably $4 or $5 million of our budget, including allowing us to open our new site in Jensen Beach, which just opened this fall. So it's our only site that happens on a school campus.
I was going to ask about that. So great segue.
Oh, listen, I didn't even know.
Tell me about the Jensen Beach High School program. What is it that you're doing out there?
So it really is a college and career exploration focus, but obviously with those core tenets. So you're going to get the tutoring and you're going to get those kinds of things, but it's focused on accelerating your workforce and your college ambitions. So everything is focused on prepping you for college, giving you those workforce experiences, helping you figure out what you want to do, how you're going to finance it, how you're going to get there, and what the next steps are after you do get there and successfully complete it. But obviously bookended by, there are key points in a kid's academic career. There's that early learning support, right? By 2, there's that transition into kindergarten, the 3rd grade point we talked about. When you go from 5th to 6th, that transition real socially from, elementary to middle.
Yeah.
8th and 9th is a big year, when you go to high school, not just socially, but academically. So we focus on some of those points. That's a big year, big time for us. We do a lot of academic supports, particularly for our 9th graders there, particularly for, folks that might be new to, or might be English language learners from Golden Gate or those kinds of things. So we have a lot of supports there. So
that's wonderful. How many? So you have over 200 employees, 270 employees. Where
I don't know all their names. I can see her. She's gonna ask. We have 6.
Who works at Jensen Beach High School? No, I'm kidding.
That is run by Terrell and Casey. We know that. So yeah, we know that. So
that's wonderful that you have that program happening there. Is it a lab school? Are you trying to get into all of the different high schools?
So we were blessed in Jensen Beach by an incredible principal and an incredible leadership team. And when we approached them with this idea, because we didn't yet have a footprint or a place that we were really strongly serving kids in that age bracket in the Jensen Beach community, she sort of welcomed us with open arms and has been a driving force in creating the content and helping the kids come in there. And we just resource it, and it's sort of a beautiful collaboration. So, the principal Dr. Vogel, amazing, right? But yes, we do aspire to be able to support the public school system however they best need to be supported. So if that means we could have something on site in the high schools, we absolutely want to do that. We do actually send our skilled trades instructor to some of the local high schools. We send Chef Dan and the culinary team to some of the local high schools to do those kinds of trainings. We bring them to our labs during the day so they can use our equipment. So any way that we can sort of accelerate a kid's ambitions and help them get to that potential faster, that's what we want to be. That's what we want to be doing. So
how long have you guys been in collaboration with the Martin County School District, especially at this new location?
So that just opened in September.
Okay.
In Jensen. The Stuart building obviously just opened in September. The relationship with the school district predates me, and I think Boys and Girls Clubs has always understood the importance of having presence in schools. AmeriCorps and all those things really started in the last 6 years, really locking the school district into a data sharing agreement where we can sort of create a multi-tiered support system. So our club leaders meet with the school leaders in their feeder pattern schools, and if there are kids that we need to talk about for whatever, I'm not doing well in English, I've got dirty clothes, they got holes in their shoes, whatever it is, we got to wrap our arms around these kids and help them be successful. And then, like I said, we engage so many others in the nonprofit family, the Robert Nearys from the House of Hope, all the folks that sort of come together to make this community great. So.
That's what it's all about,
100%.
community unity, right?
Listen, I'm trying to promote the tagline.
That's what we're here at, community unity, right? And that seems to be something that our community, Martin County, is very good at. We excel in coming together and working with one another and helping support everybody's like best foot forward. Yeah. So thank you for bringing up community unity. So do you have any holiday plans for Boys and Girls Club?
Yeah, and let me just say, before I talk about what Boys and Girls Clubs does, I would encourage everyone in this community, whether it's United Way stuff in the bus or Elevate Hope, adopt a kid, adopt a family, get out there and make the holiday spirit, have the holiday season special for some kid and some family that's not going to make that happen otherwise. I think that's important. I think in my line of work, you kind of you help build and create the kind of memories that can sustain a kid through the toughest of times. So regardless of who you do it through, get out there and make the holidays special. The Boys and Girls Clubs, we do a little bit of everything. I dress up like a Grinch. The staff would say that's no real change, but nonetheless, like I dress up like a Grinch. We visit the clubs. We send Santa into every one of the clubs because I think that every kid deserves a picture with Santa, We do convert some of our rooms at night, and we have our own staff take digital pictures, holiday pictures that families can use for their clubs because that's expensive to do, right? That's expensive to do. And then we run Operation Merry and Bright. So every one of our kids is going home with multiple toys. We do close over the holidays, so our club members go home with food boxes. We have some families that are faced with food insecurity, so they go home with a box of perishable and non-perishable items to last the full time that we're closed, with some custom developed recipes by Chef Dan and that culinary team. Plus, in addition, we fully adopt just north of 60 families, ranging in size from 2 to 9. And we have a wonderful sort of base of support that comes together to make sure that all those folks get fully adopted. And then a shout out to a new friend of ours, Josh Birmingham, whose business has come and purchased 60 brand new laptops to make sure every one of those adopted families.
Josh Birmingham from Premier?
Josh Birmingham from
That's my buddy.
Yeah, really? Okay,
yeah.
No one. Okay, so he has come this year and purchasing 60 laptops to make sure each one of our kids and those adopted families, or each one of those adopted families, is going to be connected and have that kind of resource, which was really absolutely amazing. And that's a
shout out to Josh.
That's a new big sort of transformational thing that we're exceptionally grateful for.
So Premier Private Jets coming into with the community support.
There you go.
I used to work with them.
Okay.
That's how I know him.
So apparently he's a great judge of character. Could use help gift wrapping on the morning of December 18th if you want to help stuff those food boxes.
December 18th.
Or do some gift wrapping. We do a big thing, hot chocolate and holiday cookies, and we're going to wrap all those gifts and get them out. So
December 18th. What day is that?
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday.
And then we also certainly partner with the NAACP for a Miracle on 10th Street.
Yeah.
right here.
Right
just a few
here at
days
the
before.
10th Street
That's right.
Community Center.
So we're super proud that our culinary team comes and gives breakfast for volunteers. Our AmeriCorps team will be out here helping any way they can.
And
We'll
that's
presents.
the 14th.
That's the 14th.
That's
Yep.
the 14th.
The 14th and 18th are the two big things if you want to do toys with Boys and Girls Clubs and our partners. But
All right.
yeah.
Well, I'm actually planning. I'm spoke with Nikki Hawkins from NAACP, and so I'm planning on coming on the
Nice.
14th to
Good.
help. So
Good.
I will be here
Good.
in my elf outfit.
Good. I'll be in the Grinch outfit, I guess.
Congrats, we're in green.
I guess.
Was there anything else? How can they get a hold of you? You have a new administrative office in Hobe
We
Sound,
do.
right?
Thank you for that. Yes, we have just. I guess most folks here would know it as the old Bank of America building, right on the corner across from Harry and the Natives in Hobe Sound. So we have a long-term lease. We did not buy. We have a long-term lease on that facility. We are currently occupying the second floor and part of the first floor, with hopes of converting the first floor to some offices that we could offer some hopefully below market rent to other nonprofits and other businesses that are looking
That's wonderful.
to get launched. So we needed a place that had lots of good parking and lots of good visibility, and we just were frankly outgrowing our space. We were incredibly happy where we were. We just got too big. So we're excited to have that new space, and it's already doing wonderful things for morale to have everybody in one space with a proper break room and seeing lovely faces in the office and all those kinds of things. So getting a hold of us. It's just 772-545-1255. That's the phone number. Again, 772-545-1255. I hope I said the same number twice in a row. And and then it's double check. And then it's just
I'll have it in the description.
And then it's just BGCMartin.org. So B as in boy, G as in girls, C as in county, Martin.org. And I would say this, the biggest differentiator in a young person's life is a meaningful connection with an adult, right? So we've got a lot of wonderful preset volunteer opportunities, but if you have something you're passionate about, we'll give it a shot with our kids. I'll give you an example. We had someone approach us and say, I want to teach the kids in Port Salerno to crochet. It's like, yo, have at it. It's got a waiting list now. The kids love it, right?
That's wonderful.
And if you need a scarf on days like today, you can get one at Port Salerno, right?
Exactly.
But the idea is that if you are showing up in a place of your happiness and applying, that you're passionate about, kids are going to follow it, and then kids are going to get all that great sort of tangential stuff of what you're bringing to the equation when you volunteer with us or anybody. So it's a big differentiator in a young person's life is meaningful adult connection. So.
Exactly, and a lot of our kids don't have that sometimes. So
100%, right. So
it's nice to
come
be
out and
able to offer
volunteer.
that.
We got a great person on our staff, Vanessa, one of those 270 people, Vanessa, who leads all of that, and she'll get you connected wherever you want to serve with us. In the community on Saturdays, sports, tutoring, crochet, whatever you want, we'll make it happen.
And you have social media as well: Facebook, Instagram.
Yep.
Is it BGCMC?
It might be.
I think it might be, but I'll.
It might be.
Or at least BGC Martin.
Our incredibly talented marketing team of Meg and Ian will kill me for not knowing that. But there's a little button you click on the bottom of the email that just does it for me.
Exactly, and you can just follow.
That's right.
So be sure to follow, keep up to date on how you can
That's right.
Support Boys and Girls Club of Martin County, how you can get involved, make donations to their Merry and Bright, and come and lend a helping hand.
That's right. That's the biggest thing you can do for anybody serving in the nonprofit community in Martin County is get out there and give of your time, because that's the biggest thing that you can do to move the needle forward for all of us. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Fletch.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate having you here. Yeah.
I appreciate it. So.
Thank you for listening to Community Unity. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Share our information with friends and family to help spread the information on life-changing programs funded by CSCMC, made possible by the homeowners of Martin County.